Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am so glad you're here today. As a licensed therapist, I've spent years, literally years, studying the intricate and sometimes totally hidden psychology behind our everyday emotional experiences. Today, we're going to treat this like a step-by-step workshop for anyone out there looking for better emotional regulation. We're diving deep into the fascinating neuroscience of emotional suppression. Together, we're going to unpack exactly why we sometimes just explode over the absolute smallest things. If you've ever felt like your own emotions are a total mystery to you, well, you are definitely in the right place.
Okay, picture this highly relatable, really visceral scenario. It's Tuesday evening, right around 7 p.m. You're standing in your kitchen after just a grueling, terribly long day. Your mind is racing, replaying unfinished conversations, stressing over messages you haven't answered yet, and you reach for a cheap $3 glass. Or, maybe you're dealing with a spilled drink or a minor traffic delay on the way home. But in this specific case, the glass slips. It shatters into 100 tiny, sharp pieces all over the floor. And suddenly, something inside you just snaps too. Your chest tightens up, your vision kind of blurs, and before you can even process what's happening, you're shouting, you kick the cabinet, and you literally sink to the floor in tears.
If your partner walks in and looks at you with total confusion, you're probably asking yourself, what on earth just happened to me? Why this sudden massive explosion over something so trivial? And hey, I completely validate that confusion. But here is the profound truth we're going to uncover in our workshop today. It was never, ever about the glass. Actually, that explosion was just the final, completely unavoidable release of something that's been building up silently for years. It's the result of every single time you swallowed your frustration, completely ignored your own boundary, and just quietly told yourself, it's fine.
Now, if you're someone who habitually suppresses your anger, society absolutely loves you for it. From the outside, you're labeled as the chill one, right? The low-maintenance friend, the super easygoing coworker. But the internal reality, that is a whole different story. Because what society praises as being nice or agreeable is actually just a deep fear of conflict and rejection. For instance, I recently worked with a client, let's call her Sarah. She was a classic, chronic people pleaser. She was the one literally everyone relied on, but she came to my office exhausted and just deeply resentful. Through our work together, she actually overcame that habit. She finally realized her agreeableness was really just a protective shield against your profound fear that, if she actually expressed her frustration, people would just pull away from her.
So Sarah, like so many of us, had basically become an emotional shock absorber. What that means is you are quietly absorbing all the discomfort in your relationships just so other people don't have to deal with it. From the outside looking in, this behavior looks like incredible emotional maturity, right? Immense patience. But internally, every single ignored boundary just adds another heavy layer of pressure inside your mind and your body.
Okay, let's dive into part one, your brain at war.
We really need to look at what's actually happening under the hood here. Your brain is literally at war during these moments. And understanding the biological mechanisms behind emotional suppression, honestly, it changes everything about how we view our reactions. To understand that Tuesday night kitchen explosion, we have to look at your biology. The second a boundary is crossed, your amygdala, which is basically your brain's primal threat detector, reacts instantly. It floods your whole body with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart races, muscles tense up. Your body is actively preparing for a fight. But a fraction of a second later, your prefrontal cortex, that's the logical, social part of your brain, steps in and essentially barks an order at you. It says, don't react. This isn't worth the conflict. So what do? You force-supplied smile and you just push the anger down.
But here's the catch. Inside, your stress response is still wildly active. You are literally pressing your nervous system's gas pedal and the brake at the exact same time. This profound physical conflict creates what psychologists call emotional debt. You haven't actually resolved the stress at all. You've merely trapped those powerful hormones inside your nervous system, basically promising to pay the biological toll later on.
So think of your body as a giant pressure cooker. Because your release valve has been socially welded shut, all that steam generated by your emotional debt has absolutely nowhere to go. Eventually, the internal system becomes so incredibly unstable that a tiny, totally insignificant trigger, like a broken glass or, a slow internet connection, causes a massive, displaced explosion. And the really sad part, this aggression often targets the safest people around you, or it gets turned entirely inward.
And we absolutely cannot ignore the physical reality of this. Chronic internal stress directly leads to severe physical health symptoms.
I mean, holding on to this chronic stress activation over months and years, it seriously damages your body. It creates this profound, unexplainable fatigue. It manifests as recurring tension headaches that simply will not go away no matter what you do, and it causes severe systemic physical inflammation. Your suppressed emotions are, quite literally, making you sick.
Moving right along to part 2, roots of the reaction.
So where does all this begin? Well, no child is born suppressing their emotions. If you watch a toddler for 5 minutes, you'll see their anger moves freely and instantly. So if you're suppressing your anger today, you're actually utilizing learned childhood survival strategies that ended up shaping your adult emotional habits. And these habits usually stem from 2 distinct childhood environments. Maybe you grew up in a volatile home where a parent had a really unpredictable temper. Your developing nervous system quickly learned that expressing anger was dangerous because it provoked the storm. Or, alternatively, you might have grown up in an emotionally distant home, where love and approval were highly conditional. In that environment, the child who complained or showed any anger was quickly labeled difficult. So you adapted. You became the easy one just to preserve stability.
The absolute crucial point here is this. What began as a highly intelligent, vital childhood survival mechanism slowly morphed into your adult personality. These early adaptations basically leave your adult nervous system falsely believing that anger still equals danger, even when you're perfectly safe, just standing in your own kitchen.
Which brings us to part 3, releasing the pressure valve.
You know, after an outburst, we usually suffer this incredibly heavy shame hangover. We deeply regret losing control, so we vow to ourselves, I am never going to get angry again, which of course just restarts the exact same cycle. We need a totally new approach to break this loop. We have to establish a cognitive reframe. Anger itself is not the villain here. It is simply a dashboard warning light telling you that a boundary has been crossed. And there are actually incredible long-term mental health benefits to validating your own internal anger. When you validate that warning light, you stop the gas pedal from flooring itself. You acknowledge the threat, which allows your nervous system to actually process the emotion, rather than just storing it as more debt.
So step 1 of our workshop method is early identification, which is absolutely crucial because it prevents future explosive outbursts from happening in the first place. To practice this, try this daily journaling prompt. Ask yourself every evening, where did I feel physical tension in my body today, and what was happening right before I felt it? Next, when you feel that initial irritation, maybe it's a tightening jaw or your shoulders rising up to your ears, use a simple guided breathing exercise. Just inhale deeply for a count of 4, hold it for 2, and exhale slowly for a count of 6. This physically calms the amygdala down. Then we move to step 2. Practice what I call micro boundaries while your irritation is only at a level 2, long before it ever hits a 10. Setting these micro boundaries safely releases the pressure early on. Let's cover 3 specific scripts you can use when setting healthy interpersonal boundaries. First, you can say, that comment didn't sit right with me. Second, I need some time to process what you just said. And third, I want to support you, but I don't have the emotional bandwidth for this topic today. Now, if you need some common phrases to politely decline requests at work, try something like, I can't take on another task right now without compromising the quality of my current projects. Or even just, my plate is currently full, but let's revisit this next quarter. These small, everyday expressions safely bleed the steam right out of that cooker. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this deeply validating thought. You are not a broken person. You are not an inherently volatile or explosive person. You are simply someone who has carried far too much weight in complete silence. By recognizing your biology and starting to set those level 2 micro boundaries, you can finally stop carrying all that emotional debt. Now, I really want to hear from you. We're building a great community of self-awareness here. What is the most ridiculous, tiny inconvenience that ever triggered a massive emotional release for you? I mean, was it a dropped spoon, a tangled headphone cord, a terribly slow internet connection? Share your story in the comments below. Your honesty will absolutely help someone else realize they are not alone in this. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer workshop, and until next time, remember to actually listen to what those dashboard warning lights are trying to tell you.